And we are live. Welcome everybody to the show. Can you all see me and can you all hear me? Looks good on my end. Hopefully it looks good on yours. All right. Alrighty then. So, last night we streamed about the game on Monday night for an hour. And usually I like to stream at least 2 hours after Seahawks games, so we're going to go for another hour now because I don't think we said everything that we needed to say in that video. So we're going to go live again. I know we're not going to get as much viewership as we did last night, and that's fine. But we got some stuff we still got to talk about after that basically season-ending loss. So the rules are, as always, I plan to stream for about an hour. I will reply to as many comments as I can. Although I will not be able to reply to all of them if the comments are moving very fast. If you have a comment that you really want me to see and read and respond to, then you have to send it in the form of a super chat. That's the only way to guarantee it. Channel member comments are slightly more likely to be responded to. And I think that's about it. So, thank you to everybody who showed up so far. I know we're going to pick up more people as the night goes on. But we got 35 people in here about right now. So please like the stream if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Become a channel member for $2 or $5 a month. And super chat donations will show up in the tip jar to my left and are appreciated, especially on a day like today when it's brutal. So with that being said, let's get into some of these comments here. Would you do Russ for Daniel Jones, Andrew Thomas, 1 first and 2 seconds? I don't think Daniel Jones has any real value anymore. I think to me Daniel Jones is like Drew Lock. I don't think there's any real difference at this point between Daniel Jones and Drew Lock. I don't like Daniel Jones on top of everything else can't even stay healthy. He gets hurt like 3 times a year now. Sidney Jones played okay. Average Brendon Nelson fan. He played fine. No problem, Thomas. Yeah, guys, we cannot cut Jamal. Forget about the Jamal stuff. Jamal will be here for at least 1 more year, maybe 2. It's almost impossible to move him right now. He's here. And that's not necessarily a terrible thing because he is a good player. Problem is he's going to be here on a team that is probably going through some growing pains of a rebuild. You guys got to remember something about the Wilson stuff. Carson went. Go look up how Carson Wentz played last year. That guy went for basically a first-round pick. And what was it, a first and a third? Okay? Wilson's probably worth about 3 firsts. And if you don't buy that, go look at what Carson Wentz went for. Oh, and by the way, Herman the Great, thank you for the super chat. I saw you sent that before I started the show. Thought this may help after the season we have this far. It does help. These donations help. Believe me. I mean, over the last year plus, I've been putting way more work into this channel. Really happy with the way things are going. Really happy with the way things have grown. But at the point where I am now with the work I am putting into it, I wouldn't be able to keep this up if I weren't getting some return on it, right? Like there was a period of time when I was just making like 2 or 3 videos a week. That I can do. That I do as a little side hobby, but making 2 to 3 videos a day and doing these streams, like the formula has changed a little bit. If I was not making any money doing this, it would be a little harder for me to justify. I would have to scale back a bit. So you guys help, believe me. Where do you think Russ will go to? Probably the Giants. Okay, Dacian, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter at all, Dacian. Okay? The only thing that matters with Wilson is what is he going to do going forward. And if you look at the way he played last night against the Redskins, or sorry, football team, if you look at that game and you don't at least have the thought pass through your mind that, hey, maybe this guy's not as good as I think he is, then you're not looking at the right stuff. I'm not saying you'll come to the same conclusion that I did, but the thought should cross your mind. Yeah, Ghost. Apparently, Wilson was in an Instagram video, like opening up gifts for with cleats, like sneakers in them or something. I didn't see it. I just saw a clip. I just saw a picture of it. I don't know exactly what was going on, but it it it's not a good look right now. It does. Well, Wilson's lost some value, but quarterbacks are overvalued. Quarterbacks get overvalued. Look at Carson Wentz. Wilson, we could get a quarterback and pay him 1/10 of what we pay Wilson. That's what the rookies make. In power, the word that I use with the coaching staff in this organization right now is they are on autopilot. They don't do anything unconventional anymore. It seems like they just autopilot to whatever seems like the option of least resistance is, and then they roll with it. They're not going to bench Wilson because that would be unconventional, and you don't do unconventional things when you're on autopilot. Like, you put Kyle Fuller out there to get blasted instead of playing Phillip Haynes. You're not. That's why when Carroll says, I'm trying everything I can think of, I call bullcrap. Like, no, you haven't. You haven't tried anything. Okay, maybe they tried one or two things on defense that are a little creative, and some of it's working okay, but there are a ton of things you could be trying. Play more aggressively on defense. Stop giving up these 16 play drives. Herman, I have a hard time blaming Waldron, and the stuff that I do blame on Waldron is easily excused by him being a rookie offensive play caller. I don't think DK will necessarily want to leave. We'll see. Well, yeah, Dacine, of course it's possible, but first of all, Rodgers is in a different stratosphere than Wilson. Rodgers is a much better quarterback than Wilson, okay? Wilson at his best was the greatest quarterback of all time. Rodgers at his best was the greatest quarterback of all time. Wilson at his best was one of the best quarterbacks in the league. There were a couple of stretches where he looked like the best quarterback in the league. But Rodgers is in a different universe. I don't know if Wilson would want to go to Cleveland, but if he does, that makes a lot of sense. No, Schneider's job is done at this point. He can't do anything. Probably less motivated in power, but guys, did you did you see DK last night come off the field and point at Geno Smith after Wilson missed him? What? Some people are like, we have to keep Wilson because if we lose Wilson, we lose Metcalf. No, we might lose Metcalf if we keep Wilson. Metcalf might be thinking, I want a real quarterback, and Wilson ain't it. I don't know. Like, did you guys see that? I'm sorry, that means something. I thought Russell Wilson was born in D.C., actually. Yeah, Geno's not the answer, but, but, you can find another one too. Jason Arcuri, welcome to the channel. Do we have Jody Allen's attention now? I think we're going to need another home game full of booing. Okay, he was born in Cincy. Okay. Wilson might consider the Panthers, but I don't know. Well, Klasda, I don't think Wilson's having a lot of fun right now. It would be very weird to me if he didn't work to accommodate a trade. Unless we are complete I mean, guys, Russell Wilson gave the team a list last offseason. So he was considering being traded and he knew it was on the table and he was comfortable with it. Okay? Like he he came that close to being traded last year. So what makes you think he's not going to be traded this offseason? We're only closer to it. Yeah, Taylor missed some stuff though, man. Taylor was a little overexcited. I mean, Brooke Peterson, he has an offensive minded coordinator. As near as I can tell, like what is an offensive minded coach going to do about Wilson airmailing dump offs to Gerald Everett 3-4 times a game? Jake, Wentz is worth a lot. Wentz was worth a lot last offseason. He can be worth a lot this. Wilson's going to be worth a lot this offseason. Brandon Darden, thank you for the 9.99. Any pass rushers you have in mind? Um, Mostly in the draft. I didn't see a lot of free agents that I like. You could take a flyer on a guy like a Dante Fowler Jr. or a Tack McKinley, guys who have baggage. You could get them reasonably cheap. Maybe something like that. See if you can get something out of them in a contract year. You seem to blame Pete, and it seems Pete's system might have covered for the weakness of Wilson's game and who would trade for him now, and he hasn't taken advantage of the middle of the field since Doug Baldwin. I assume you mean Doug Baldwin, Sam Kirk. Well, there are coaches out there who are going to think I can fix him. And as for Pete's system covering for the weakness of Wilson, that does not explain why Pete can't get this defense playing better. That does not explain why Pete get cannot draft well, because we know that he's responsible for a lot of the drafting this team does. Like, even if Pete is covering for a Wilson's shortcomings, it doesn't matter because Pete's failing in so many other areas right now. Oh, Jake, I haven't seen that. I don't know who you're talking about. You can say channel names if you want to, man. John Hudd, the defense is not great. The defense is good. Let's slow down with the great stuff. Empower, I think Diggs is good. Don't get it twisted. My only question with Diggs is he going to continue to be good long enough for us to do this little rebuild we're going to have to do? Thank you, Herman the Great. Diggs is 29, right? So he might be 32 before we're good again. Michael, I think Dunlap just doesn't have any gas left in the tank. Okay, Jake. Okay, Jake, I hear you. Sean Hudd, get out of here with that. Stop talking about players who retired 5 years ago. You might as well. Why don't you just say we should go get Tony Romo while we're at it? Why don't you say we should get Brett Favre? Why don't you say we should get? Why don't you just say we should go get Joe Namath to play quarterback? Kaepernick hasn't been in the league for 5 years. Get off it, Jesus. You guys are weird. Kaepernick stands are strange. Yeah, Mason, my dad lost his mind on that one. Yeah, I see the Dunlap thing. I don't know. Maybe he got paid and he's cool, but I don't like to assume that about players, man. Muhammad Ali might be the greatest boxer of all time. Jeez. Ghost, thank you for the $1.99. Samuel Gold said Pete's not to be blamed. Yeah, Seahawks Twitter has a lot of Pete apologists right now. Matty F. Brown is one of them, and Samuel Gold is one of them. I'm sorry, the drafts have been bad. The player development has been bad. And, guys, don't, do not try to tell anybody that this defense is great. This defense is pretty decent. This defense is bottom 3 in pressure rate. This defense is bottom 3 in turnover rate. We don't get pressure. We don't get turnovers. If you don't get pressure and you don't get turnovers, that's not a great defense. Period. It's an okay defense. They do some things well, but they never take over the game. They play well enough to keep us in most games. But they are not playing, but they're not winning the game. Pete's old defenses would take over the game and win it by themselves. God, even in Super Bowl 48, the defense completely took over the game. The offense didn't have to do anything, and we would have won that game in a blowout. This defense, yeah, they fight, they scrap hard, they do some nice things, they make enough plays to stick in it, but they don't win the game. Okay? Do you understand what I'm getting at here? Like, you can... The defense is playing well enough to win, but it's not winning the game. Little bit, Jake. I mean, this is obviously uncharted territory for him. Clavion Chason from the Jaguars. That's not a terrible idea, but I'm wondering why he can't get on the field. Herman, I think it's very possible that Wilson leaves and Pete and John stay. Mostly because we have an absentee owner. Look, maybe Pete Carroll walks away of his own volition, but Jody Allen is going to spend this offseason looking for excuses to keep him, not excuses to fire him. Owners don't do that. Owners look for excuses to keep people. They don't look for excuses to fire people unless you're Paul Allen and you're firing Kevin Pritchard because he made one mistake in a pretty good GM career. Well, Green Earth, we have the richest owner in the league. She can eat that money and not even give a crap. Like, it's not my money. It's not the salary cap's money. Jody Allen is a billionaire who literally did nothing to earn that money. She should be willing to spend some of it to Cain, a coach who will cost her some money. Do we not have the richest owner anymore? I know we used to. I mean, the thing is, some of you guys need to realize this isn't just a bad season. This is a bad season where you went all in. This is a bad season where you pushed all your chips in. Okay? And it's not just a bad season. It's looking like a terrible season. We might win like 5, we might go 5-12. Not just, we're not talking like 9-8 or 8-9 or something like that. This is we're one of the worst teams in the league, and we went all in to win the Super Bowl. Okay, if we didn't have if we expected to be average this year and we were bad, then okay, whatever, I can live with that. But we expected to be contenders. So it's not just one bad season. There are gradients of this stuff. All bad seasons do not exist in the exact same context. You could make an argument that we're the worst team in the league right now. Yeah, Sam Kirk, I was on the let Russ cook wagon, but it didn't work. I mean, I don't that does but here's the thing. What Pete does on offense is just like a band-aid. Here's how I look at it. Like, if you run the Pete Carroll offense and you have a quarterback with a finger that works, you might grind out 24 points a game. It'll be okay. It'll be workable. It'll be tolerable. But the thing is, that quarterback is not getting better. That was the thing with the Schottenheimer. That was the thing with the Schottenheimer offense, okay? Wilson was playing well, but he wasn't advancing as a quarterback in terms of his capabilities. He wasn't learning how to think about football differently. He was just running a very simple offense that made him look good, but it was a very simple offense, and I don't think it allowed Wilson to advance as a quarterback. Ghost, thank you for the $1.99. You know Wilson is bad when Colin Cowherd notices. Yeah, I know that Colin Cowherd makes occasional good points and he occasionally tries. But don't forget, guys, he's not that different than Skip Bayless. He's just a talking head trying to find stuff to talk about, okay? Like, I'm not saying he's as bad as Skip Bayless, because Skip Bayless is the worst, but Colin Cowherd is not that much better. Michael Centalonza, thank you for the $5. Pete and John are staying 100%. Russ will be traded, and they will sell it to the fan base like a college team reloading after their senior QB graduates. Michael, you can't convince me that number is 100%. Like, if we lose out, like, well, let's say we lose out, which looks very possible right now, okay? Let's say we lose out. You think Pete's not going to... I mean, what's he going to do? Is he going to come out and admit, like, yeah, I suck, but I want to make money, so I'm going to come back for the next 4 years. You're going to have to fire me to get me out of here. Like, don't rule out the possibility of him being so miserable right now that he does walk away. I mean, for me, not that this matters, I can't take him seriously anymore. I can't even take him seriously. He basically started crying in the middle of a press conference because he was so rattled by the media asking softball questions. Sam Kirk, welcome to the membership club, buddy. Appreciate it. All right, we have ourselves a new channel member. Welcome. Kyle, can you please? Yeah, well, okay. Uh, the offense didn't really have a chance to get into the playbook because Wilson couldn't complete a forward pass. So it was a little hard to get guys out there. Devin Schultz right now, I guess I would say Jalen Hurts, but I don't like either. I really don't like either. Who do you replace Pete with? There are a bunch of different guys that I like. Hey, mods? God, I know I have like at least 2 mods in here. Can you guys please do your job? Yes, Bobby Wagner has to go 100%. If Bobby Wagner is here next year, unless he's on a super, super reduced contract, then I'm going to have a problem. Wait a minute. Why did John Hudd get deleted? But, jeebus. Come on, mods. Get your shit straight. Okay, fuck it. I'll do it myself. All my mods are fired. You are all fired. Fuck it. I'll do it myself. I hate you all. Okay, there we go. Thank you. Do you guys not see the dude spamming the same comment over and over? Am I the only one who can see him? The Cardinals fan? You guys don't see that? Am I the only one who can see the Cardinals fan spamming my chat? Okay. Huh, that's weird. Whatever. Wow. I'm going crazy. I guess you all blocked him. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, they're putting vaccine commercials on my videos? Oh, God. Yeah, guys, I can't control that. I have no control over what ads they put on my videos. I don't even have control if they put ads on, period. How you feeling about Ray? I love it. I think it's great. Hawk Alert. I mean, no guarantee that it works out, but you got to take risks at some point. Okay, anyway, let's get back to the stuff that matters. Let's talk Seahawks football. By the way, I think we need like 3 more members to get to the next emoji. It might be 2. Let me. Okay, I think we need 3 more actually. The counter is wrong. It's 72, not 73. Okay. Yeah, Clasta, if you trade Wilson, then yeah, next year's a punt. Green Earth, not even close. This offensive line is not anywhere near as bad as the last 2 Tom Cable offensive lines. Do you guys remember that Tom Cable offensive line in 2017? That was a bad offensive line. These offensive lines are not that bad at all. This current offensive line is really bad at run blocking, but they can pass block okay for the most part. It's not great, but I don't think it's anywhere near bad enough to justify what we're seeing from him. Those Tom Cable offensive lines didn't even look like they were playing football. Remember the screenshot from the Packers game in 2017 of 4 pass rushers chasing Wilson untouched? Do you guys remember that? Bill O'Brien, thank you for the $1.99. The Jamal Adams trade is something I would do. You're not kidding. Thank you, Michael. Yeah, the 19 offensive line wasn't great. I don't think the offensive line this year is good in run blocking, but pass blocking wise, they hold up passably, I think. Devin Schultz, the Matt Campbell guy, a lot of people like him, maybe. But I would rather get an assistant from an NFL team, honestly. I would rather get like a Kellen Moore, Brian DeBole, even Eric Bieniemy. I'm not crazy about Eric Bieniemy because there are red flags, but he would be. He has the knowledge. He has the knowledge for sure. Do you think Wilson deserved the MVP in 2019? No. Lamar won the head-to-head. Lamar had a better record. Lamar had better stats. I have no problem with Lamar winning it. Yeah, there are some legal issues with Eric Bieniemy. That's part of the thing. Yeah, Michael, a 6-game win streak would probably be a problem. Austin Roberts, thank you for the $5. 2016, we had left tackle that false started on every play. Yeah, I can't remember his name. I always forget his name, but I think some of you guys remember who I'm talking about. The left tackle. Eventually, the referee stopped calling it because they got tired of it. How do you feel about Todd Bowles? That would be okay. I don't hate it. I'm not crazy about it. Bradley Soel. Thank you, Michael. I always forget his name for some reason. Agree for the most part, but Wilson did have more total yards. Yeah, but still, I think Lamar was better. Did you see DK pointing at Geno? Yeah, and that's notable. Like, even if you don't think Geno should be out there, the fact that a superstar player on the team thinks that he should is pretty significant. Brandon Darden, thank you for the $4.99. I'd get rid of Wilson, Adams, Wagner, possibly rebuild the offensive line and draft some DL players. What do you think, and keep up the good work? I would do all of that, but I would not get rid of Adams because you cannot. You cannot get rid of Adams for at least 1 year. Yeah, Russell Okung was a good left tackle. He wasn't amazing, but he was good. Devin Schultz, I think you could keep Everett. He's not going to have a monster season. He's not going to get monster contract offers. He didn't have the breakout year that he was hoping for. You could. Any chance Packers take him if Rodgers leaves? Possibly, but what are their assets going to look like? I don't think it's going to be as good as some of the other teams. Yeah, Wagner is a Hall of Fame player, but right now he's not helping us. All he's doing is making money. Are we going to pay DK? I think we probably should. You got to build around some theme. And may as well be the young guy who has a ton of talent and has produced a ton in his career. OMS, you click the join button below the video. I can post. I can try to post the link in chat if you can't find it, but there's a join button down right below the video. Why pay DK if we're not going to target him? Well, presumably the issues we're having right now with targeting Metcalf have more to do with the state of the offense with the way that it is right now, and you can change that. Okay, I posted a link in the chat just now. What do you think about Josh McDaniels as a head coach? Possibly. I'm not as high on that as some of the other options, but it's not a terrible idea, I don't think. Brendon, we have so much cap space next few years, maybe we should suck it up and trade Adams for a first and third. It costs more money to trade him than to keep him. And who's going to trade for him right now when his reputation is in the toilet? Okay? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. That's selling low. That's the definition of buying high, selling low. You don't want to do that. Do you think it would be better for DK to keep struggling yards-wise to try to get a more favorable contract? Well, he's got to get the ball first. Do you watch Hawk Talk? A little bit. I don't like any of the guys on the show, but sometimes they say some pretty decent things. Kyle Hamilton, the safety out of Notre Dame. I don't know very much about him. I don't like the idea of drafting a safety that high in the draft. Yeah, and guys, Adams is playing good. Adams is playing good right now. Like, direct your anger somewhere else right now. You can be mad at him for the trade, but he didn't trade for himself. We traded for him. So, you think Carson will go at all? No, Carson should retire. Carson should retire immediately before he gets paralyzed. Aiden Hutchinson would be a dream, but I don't know if that's possible. Jeff Bezos buy team? Uh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think there's any way you get Hutch, even if you trade into the top five, but it's on the table. There is no super slam dunk number one this year. It could be Hutch, could be Thibodeau, could be some quarterback that people overhype over the next few months. Why would they give up on Zach Wilson already? OMS, welcome to the membership club. All right, two more guys, two more. Two more members, we get to our goal. The member goal is displaying improperly. I'm sure he was, Kevin, and I can't argue with it. The only time Wilson threw the ball at Metcalf yesterday was when he was in double coverage. Dude got open, doesn't get the ball. Dude's in double coverage, he gets the ball thrown his way with a ball that never, ever, ever was going to get caught. How do you think this offseason will play out? At this point, I really... Look, bottom line, you cannot run it back, okay? If you run it back, then your organization is telling you they don't care. This is not just a bad season. This is a terrible season in a year when you basically went all in. So you have to get rid of either the head coach or the quarterback. And maybe you would say the GM, but I think Pete and John are pretty well linked at the hip. The cap hit if we trade Lockett is gigantic, Kyle. Like, forget about it. It's not happening. It's not worth it. I don't at all. Like, just Lockett's stuck here, unfortunately, but he'll be okay because he goes to bed on a big pillow full of money every night. I mean, the Seahawks players are not the only players in the league on bad teams, guys. Think about the players on the Lions. Except we didn't. Okay, yeah, you're right. But in theory, we went all in. In theory, we went all in. You don't do some of the things that you did if you're not going all in. The fact that you decided to hold back a little bit doesn't change the fact that way too much of your you put way too much of yourself at risk for this season. How about trading a future third round pick for Bieniemy to be the next head coach? Keep Russ and trade DK. Why would we keep Russ and trade DK? This doesn't make any. Ugh. Why would you keep the guy who's past his prime and has been in the league 10 years for a guy who's only been in the league 3 years and has his prime in front of him? That doesn't... You guys would be the worst Wall Street traders of all time. Because Hall of Fame QBs don't come around often? Okay. Well, I think I think we've seen the best of Wilson, so I don't feel obligated to keep him around because we owe him for past performance. Rush to the Raiders for Carr and some draft picks? Possibly. But who's the Raiders' new head coach going to be with Gruden out? Like, they got to hire somebody this offseason. That'll tell you a lot. And does Wilson look like a guy who's going to be able to play for 20 years? Does Wilson look like he's going to be around forever, like a Brady or even a Rodgers? I'm not seeing it. I mean, Okay, I guess Rodgers has been around for 15 years, but Rodgers looks like he might last a long time. Wilson's game is based off his athleticism and arm talent. Those things are going to go, and then he's going to be dependent on his mind only. And right now, whenever he's dependent on his mind only, I don't see good results. Jake, it's either going to be Persona or DBD. I'm not 100% sure yet, but yes, there will be stuff. Yeah, you think Lamar's going to age great? You think Lamar's going to last 20 years in the NFL? I seriously doubt it. I mean, trust me, guys, there are coaches out there who will look at Wilson and be like, I can fix him. Don't worry about that. There are coaches out there who are going to look at Wilson and be like, I think I can fix this. Saquon Barkley has negative value, and he's a free agent, I think, this offseason. Noctivagon, I don't know about the Pete thing. Jody Allen is worth $20 billion. She should have no problem eating $40 million to get Pete out, but maybe she will. Champagne, he has an offensive line. He has an offensive line. He makes it look worse than it is. What do you think is fundamentally wrong with Wilson? I think that he's the mental part of his game never caught up to the physical part of his game, and now he's losing the physical and he's trying to lean on the mental. And the mental is not working. I'm not watching anything right now, Silver. Guys, they say sacks are a QB stat for a reason. Look, if we had hired an offensive guru instead of Schottenheimer in 2018, maybe Pete would have been able to. I'm sorry, maybe Wilson would have been able to start to pick this up, and his mind would have gotten better, and maybe we'd be in a different position right now. But now he's, what, 33? Yeah, he's 33, right? He's 33, and this is how he plays. It's getting late, guys. It's late. Thank you, Bill. I appreciate that. Mafuz, there were too many. Mafuz, there were too many times when he just made the wrong read and made the wrong decision. Like, he showed some progress, but I need more. You mean he doesn't understand the game? I don't think he understands the little things. I don't. Uh, Look, Russell Wilson is like the guy who has the wife, the good looking wife at home, and she'll make his food and raise his kids and take care of the house. He's got it all, but he keeps sneaking over to the neighbor's house because it's exciting for him, you know? He keeps sneaking over to the neighbor's house. There's something over there that just excites him a little bit more. He's bored at home. That's what it is. Brandon Darden, thank you for the 4.99. Maybe just go all in on the offensive line and just pick up free agent to help the pass rush. Other than the gummies, what snack were you eating? I'm not eating anything right now, Brandon. As for going all in on the offensive line and pick up free agents to help the pass rush, I've looked at free agency. I'm not seeing the slam dunk pass rushers. I'm seeing a bunch of guys with a lot of baggage. And we probably need to go all in on the offensive line anyway, but that's no guarantee that it's going to be good immediately. Oh, Tommy, there are a lot of stats you can find where Wilson is the worst player in the league. Uh, you can also find ones that say he's one of the best players in the league. So stats will lie to you sometimes. What in the world? Oh, I know why you guys can't see his comments, because you guys are on top chat and not live chat. Goofies. I'll bet that's why. Or you had him blocked. Yeah, I just blocked him. And guys, it doesn't matter if Wilson is still good if we don't win with him, okay? We suck with Wilson. We can suck perfectly fine without Wilson. Sucking without Wilson is better than sucking with Wilson. This is just a waste of everyone's time. Suck with another guy, at least you can work towards something better. Yeah, I banned him. Don't worry about it. He'll probably be back, though. When did you start watching the Hawks? 1996. A rebuild could just take a year or two, honestly. We see it happen all the time. Why did you become a Seahawks fan? Because my dad was, and I went to 4 games in the Kingdome in '96. How about we suck with Gino? Well, that's the thing. We're doing a perfectly good job sucking with Wilson. It's like some people were trying to defend Wilson last night by saying, hey, we didn't look any better with Gino. It looked the exact same with Gino. You do realize you just said that there's no difference between a $35 million QB and a vet min QB, right? Like, you don't see the problem there? That's a problem. I love Trevor Lawrence, but you can't get him. No way, Jose. Okay, Cheeseburger, but it's more than just his raw performance. It's more than just the raw performance, Cheeseburger Man. It's also how he's playing. Like, I use this example all the time. In the Titans game, Wilson had, I think, two 70-yard touchdown passes. 70-yard touchdown passes are fun, but they also put your defense right back out onto the field after, like, they barely have a chance to get a water, and then they have to go back out there. If that drive was a 10-play drive where you slowly work your way down the field and you convert on your third downs, da da da, the defense gets a chance to chill, you're taking time off the clock. It's things like that. And Wilson needed to understand that those things matter a lot more than they used to. And I'm not seeing it. I'm just not seeing it. And we're running out of time. Yeah, Wilson had good stats last night, guys. Does anybody in here want to try to tell me that Wilson played good last night because look at the stats? Like, you watched the game, right? Daddy Dennis, the offensive line is not as bad as you think. That's just a lazy excuse. Yeah, Tiki Toby, that's exactly it. And the bottom line is that it ultimately wears on your defense to do that over and over again. Every drive is either a 3-and-out or a long touchdown. Yeah, the O-line has problems, don't get me wrong, but mostly run blocking. We can't run block. The pass blocking is not that bad. I mean, go look at our pass rush win rate, pass block win rate. It's not that bad. Go look it up. I promise you, it's not that bad. Jacob Kessinger, thank you for the $10. Russ needs to be traded for his own sake. We've already taken too much of his prime. Let the man compete somewhere with a team that has fewer holes to fill. That way we can rebuild for the future. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Patriots could have kept Tom Brady, but they didn't because they realized that it wasn't going to behoove them or behoove him. How the hell have you been playing football for over 40 years? Nobody plays football for over 40 years. Even if you start playing football in Pop Warner and have like a super long NFL career, you don't make it to 40 years. That's very unlikely. OMS, that's not nearly enough. I need more than that for sure. I mean, I guess it's possible, Sam Kirk, but what is that baby going to do for us if we suck with him? We suck with Wilson, even if he is still good, which I'm really starting to doubt. I'm really starting to question him. I don't know if he's going to be able to figure this stuff out. Then, even if he can figure this stuff out, we just don't have enough time. There's not enough time. Wilson's probably not going to be one of those guys who plays until he's 45, even though he wants to be. There's just too much. It's too much. We need so many things to go right to keep Wilson around and have it be worth our time. I mean, Wilson's been bad on third down his whole career. Okay? That might be the most important thing for a quarterback to do, be effective on third down. Okay? When the other team knows you're going to pass and you still make the play. You can't make the plays on third down. Maybe you're not as good as we think. We had like 1 year where we were good on third down. I looked this up in the off season. Yeah, drop top. I'm gonna stream something tonight. No, Watson is not an option. I don't think. I don't think Watson is an option unless he's suddenly completely exonerated. Okay, if Wilson does play until he's 45, he'll be doing it in the CFL probably. No decent tight end coming off the line. We have good tight ends this year. What are you talking about? I know you're not saying anything bad about Gerald Everett, the only guy on this team who I'm actually got good feelings about right now. Can you guys stop fighting in my damn chat? I'm trying to read comments. Oh my god. I mean, bottom line is, guys, Wilson gave the team a list last offseason. That means something. It means he was open to it. He's going to be even more open to it this offseason. Seriously, guys, go look up our pass block win rate. Our pass block win rate is not bad. The only year it was bad since Schottenheimer got here was 2019. It's been top 10 the other 3 seasons, I think. Okay, there's a lot of evidence that tells you that Wilson makes these guys look a lot worse than they are because of how he plays. And for a while, that was something you could live with because he made so many big plays off that stuff. But now the big plays are starting to dry up. Are there any QBs you think would be decent for us to rebuild? Yeah, there are a bunch. There are a bunch, Carson. It's not hard to find a guy like that. At least we have a good pick then, Tracy's baby. I could live with that. Russ like Brian more than Waldron. He probably does, but look, Brian had to go. Brian had to go, period. Somebody was going to fall on the axe for what happened at the end of the season. It wasn't going to be Wilson. We decided that. It wasn't going to be Carroll because Carroll is Superman in this organization. But, yeah. Are you serious, Drop Top? I did not hear about that. The offensive line this year is bad at run blocking. It's not bad at pass blocking. They've had bad games in pass blocking. They've had bad moments in pass blocking, but overall, they are not nearly as bad as some of you guys think they are. Uh, you week 2K, I watched the game last night, and there were some bad plays, but for the most part, his blocking was good. He had enough to work with. Are you going to blame his blocking for him airmailing Gerald Everett like 3 times in one game on passes like 8 yards in front of him? Jacob Kessinger, thank you for the $5. Russ is sixth highest in the league for time to pass with a 1.38 seconds. I don't think that number's right. His pocket time is a lot higher than that, according to PFR. Jacob Kessinger, thank you for the $2. Sorry, 1.38 over average. Okay. Well, if that's true, then I didn't know that. If that's true, then holy crap, people need to stop complaining about this offensive line. Like, you guys got to think about it. Like, this year, when Wilson gets pressured, a lot of the time, he just falls down. He doesn't, like, do the old stuff where he would spin out of the pocket to evade it. A lot of the time, he just, like, he's like, okay, I'm down. Which, if he can't get away from the rush, that's reasonable, but it's not like he's doing anything to make the pressure take longer to get to him on a lot of these plays. Well, Daniel, I mean, last year he was the runaway MVP until midway through the season. This year, not even close. There has to be some hurt value there. I mean, go watch a couple of the plays right after Wilson's finger got hurt against the Rams and he tried to go back in there. Like, there's one play where he's just like doing dancing with the stars in the pocket for, I swear to God, it was like 4 or 5 seconds, and then he gets sacked, and I'm just like, dude, you just busted your finger. Why are you holding onto the ball for 3 years so you can get hit again? What's the angriest you had been with Seahawks game? I don't know, dude. I don't know. Yeah, Kyle Fuller. That's when we get back to the Pete stuff. Play Phil Haynes. At least Phil Haynes has shown he can be good. I know he gets hurt, but I think Seahawks analyst might be a troll. I'm not sure. Like, this guy can't be serious right now. I mean, Super Bowl 49 was pretty traumatic. Yeah, I mean, maybe that's just the automatic answer. Maybe I don't even need to say anything else than that. I mean, Drop Top, I guess he does not give a crap about his brain. I guess that's his right. Well, Wilson should have run the ball on the 2 point conversion. He had a lane. Now I understand he's trying to find a receiver. Kyle, what are you talking about? Yeah, DK was open too. Yeah. Uh, Kyle, what the hell was that comment? Were you trying to say that to somebody else? Because I've definitely not really said anything good about Dunlap this year. I don't think. Maybe after the first game. The first game Dunlap was okay, I guess. I mean, look, I said it before and I'll say it again. If you watched that game last night and you didn't come away at least considering the possibility that maybe Wilson's not that good and maybe Wilson's best days are behind him and it's time to do something else, then you have an agenda. I'm not saying that you definitely would come to the conclusion that Wilson is bad. Like, I'm not saying that anyone who thinks that Wilson is good is an idiot. That's obviously not true. But the thought should at least cross your mind when you see what you see from this team, from this player who's making a whole lot of money to not produce a whole heck of a lot this season. Like, you should be able to at least look at that and say, huh, maybe, maybe he's not the guy. Now, maybe you'll come to the conclusion that no, I think he's still good. I think he's still good, but the thought should cross your mind. Uh, Haircut. Poona Ford is a nose tackle. He's good against the run. He makes plays in the run. He helps your run defense. He's good at that stuff, but he didn't develop as a pass rusher, so it is what it is. I know, Kyle. It blows my mind how fast he fell off a cliff. Brandon Darden, thank you for the $1.99. You trying to chill in the hot tub? Probably not tonight. No, probably not tonight. I'm afraid Russ will win a Super Bowl somewhere else once he's traded. I don't care about that. As long as the move to trade him helps this team, then maybe he can go somewhere else and he'll find some offensive genius super guru who will fix him and get him the right team. Da 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 da. Maybe, but I'm seriously doubting it. I don't know, Kyle. Like I just have serious doubts about him right now, and if you as a Seahawks fan aren't at least having doubts, then whether you know it or not, you probably got some kind of agenda going on here. Kyle, is your little brother like messing around on your account or something? What the hell? You're saying stuff that doesn't make sense. William Leonard, thank you for the $5. Do you think Russ has suffered a concussion a while back that went unchecked? Maybe in that Bills game. Maybe in that Bills game. But I mean, that should be cleared up by now, right? Do you think Jamal Adams is a top 5-10 safety in the NFL? Probably. I feel comfortable saying that. Paul Richardson wasn't a PS player. Paul Richardson was what was he, a second round pick? Russ, well, we know for a fact that Russ is playing through injury, but if he's going to go out there, then he's got to be held accountable for how he plays. Wow, we've already gone over an hour. Wow, I didn't think we were going to go this long, but we got so many damn people in here. I'm going to keep it going. I'll keep it going for like a minute, hour 30 maybe. I don't think Russ ever recovered from 2014. He played his best football after 2014. What are you talking about? Before 2014, he was a game manager. It wasn't until after 2014 that he became a fringe MVP candidate. Like, I don't understand that mentality at all. Now, if you want to say Pete Carroll's been messed up since Super Bowl 49, then I can agree with that. Pete Carroll used to take risks. He used to do big balls Pete stuff. Now he never does big balls Pete stuff. Ever. Ever in a million years does he do the big balls Pete stuff. Why not play Phil Haynes last night? Why not play some Josh Johnson last night? Why not go for it on these fourth downs a little bit? Like, even if Wilson is still as good as some of you guys think that he is, even if Wilson is still this superstar, top 3 quarterback, in all likelihood, all that gets us next year is like an 8 or 9 win team. You week 2K, that's not true. That's definitely not true. I mean, I think in 2018 we ran the ball more than every other team in the league, and I don't think it was that close. So there's no way you can say that Wilson is completely carrying when we run the ball more than every other team. And I'm pretty sure in 2019 we ran the ball a ton too compared to the other teams in the league. So, and the last two teams that won a Super Bowl had terrible run games. Okay, think about that. The last two teams that won the Super Bowl didn't run the ball. Pat Mahomes did not have anybody on that team that ran for 500 yards that year. The Buccaneers last year had nobody run over 1,000 yards. In terms of run efficiency, they were bad. Yards per carry, they were bad. And they won the Super Bowl because they actually had superstar, super elite quarterbacks. Okay, so to me that should disarm the idea right then and there that Wilson is in their stratosphere. Okay. Yeah, the Bucks are awesome against the run, but they didn't run the ball that well. And the Chiefs, their running game was a complete afterthought. Their leading rusher was some dude who had like 490 yards. Okay, see you later, head cut. So that tells me that even if Wilson is good, maybe he's not. He didn't quite get there, right? He didn't quite get there. He got close. We thought he could get there for a second, and it didn't quite happen, okay? We thought he could get there. We wanted him to get there. He fell a little short, and now age is catching up to him. He's taking a beating. He's getting old. His game is not going to age that well. Maybe, like, let's be the team that gives up on somebody either a year too early or at the right time instead of a year too late. I don't. Some football fans have an obsession with being a year too late. You can't get rid of a player until you see that he sucks. Then you get rid of him. No, you get rid of him when you feel like he's going to suck. Okay? Like Dwayne Brown's a great example. You could have moved on from him this offseason, right? You would have saved like $11 million if you cut Dwayne Brown and say we're going to do something else at left tackle, but you bring him back and he's regressed significantly. He's regressed significantly. So what if you had decided, you know what? Yeah, he was good last year, but we think the age is going to catch up to him. Why do you have to see him have a bad year before you move on? Try to get a feel for when the bad year is going to happen and act accordingly beforehand. Not that this means anything. Not that this means anything, but when I used to play Madden, I ran my Madden team like Logan's Run. I would never keep a player past the age of 31. Once they hit 32, I traded them immediately, no exceptions, because I knew they were just going to deteriorate at that point. And I liked fast players. I didn't want I wanted my speeds to be maxed out, the speed of my players to get maxed. So I was always trading players, except for like punters, right? Everyone else I would trade as soon as they hit 32. I played the franchise mode in 2005. And obviously you don't do that in the real world, but the point of that I'm making is sometimes it's okay to let go a year early. It's better to be a year early than a year late. All I know is this: you cannot run it back. You cannot run it back. If you have this disappointing of a season, this trash of a season when you went all in, and you don't either move on from Wilson or move on from Pete or both, then that is the organization telling you that they don't care about you, the fan. Hey, Green 80. Week 2K, are we going to start crapping on Wilson's targets? Like we're going to pretend that Metcalf and Lockett aren't some of the best 1-2 receivers in the league? Like, yeah, he hasn't had great stuff at tight end. I actually made a video about that last year, but let's not start crapping on his receivers. Okay? That's no. Remember how great Doug Baldwin was, granted for like 2 years, but he's had his dudes. He's had some dudes. Maybe it hasn't been as great as those guys have had, but they did it without a running game. Yeah, but Baldwin's prime was only like 2 years. When Baldwin was like a top 5 receiver, that only lasted like 2 years and then he got hurt. But Baldwin was phenomenal for those 2 years. He was legitimately like a tiny bit worse than like AB. Yeah, I don't think Hurts is good, but I would take a flyer if we need to get there. Well, Marcus, fans of a team can come at things from very different angles, and that's kind of cool sometimes. But right now, as we're going to probably massively overhaul this team, I think it's just really important to try to keep an eye on the agendas. You're going to see some people coming in here with an agenda. You gotta you got to try to make sure that the stuff that you are saying is actually based in facts and logic to a certain extent. Like there are going to be some people like have a hate boner for Jamal Adams right now. I'll give that as an example. Jamal Adams has been playing really well for the most part this year. The people who are killing Jamal Adams right now, they just don't like him and they're trying to run him out of here. And obviously we never should have traded for Jamal Adams. But the people who are acting like he's a terrible player, they have some anti-Jamal agenda. Ghost, thank you for the $1.99. Wilson needs a run game and defense. Well, yeah. And look, if we had a better GM and coach, we could have given him those things. We can't. That is a shortcoming. That is not Wilson. That part is not Wilson's fault. But I think there are quarterbacks out there who succeed anyway. So he's just not quite in that conversation. Okay, case in point, we have a person with a hate boner for Jamal Adams in the chat right now. Case in point, don't you just love it when you make a point and then somebody comes flying in on a chandelier, prove the point? Do you think if we fire Pete and hire a defensive-minded head coach while giving Shane full control of the offense, Russ stays? I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe. Yeah, Carolina could make a move on Russ at this point because the Darnold thing has gone so badly. But what assets do they have? They already gave up some assets for Darnold, right? Didn't they give up some picks in the upcoming draft for him? We'll definitely get at least one first round pick for Russ, guys. Somebody out there is going to be like, I can fix him. Just like somebody went, I can fix Carson Wentz. Yeah, Texans would listen to it, but we shouldn't. Deshaun Watson may never play football again. He's got a lot to prove. Deshaun Watson is getting massive trade offers, and he's legitimately and he legitimately might be playing for the longest yard by next season. Look, I'll say it again, guys. The moment that you could have done something about Wilson to not get to this point was 2018. 2018, you hire a offensive guru to work with Wilson for a few years. Maybe he is able to figure some of this stuff out a little better. Maybe you're able to actually get a great maybe you're actually able to get some great results out of Wilson. Maybe it doesn't get to this point, but you didn't do it. It's over. You can't undo it. Now your team has so many problems. Now your team is legitimately one of the worst in the league. And now I don't think you have much of a choice at this point. Keeping Wilson just marries you to 9-8 or 8-9. I'm not interested in that. Go big or go home. I don't want to hang around in the middle. And I think with that, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. So thank you, everybody, for coming out to the stream. We had a good part 2. We've talked about everything we need to talk about, I think. Thank you for all the tips. Thank you for all the support. Appreciate it. I will see you guys in the... I will see you guys a little later. But nothing fun. So give me some time. I will be on either Persona or DBD. And I will catch you guys there. Peace out. Go Hawks.